Mike Lord had been watching his wife for the better part of half an hour. Josephine moved across the ballroom like a queen among courtiers, her sequined gown catching the light, her laugh carrying over the music, her hands lingering too long on the men she danced with. She had timed it perfectly, as she always did, to be at the farthest end of the Grand Hotel ballroom when the clock struck midnight. As the confetti fell and champagne glasses clinked, she was swept into the arms of every powerful man in the room, kissed, squeezed, caressed, passed around like a tray of hors d'oeuvres. The worst was George Taylor, his company's spoiled, arrogant CEO, who always seemed to get more than a kiss. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and keep watching, because the best part's coming up next. This wasn't the first time Mike had endured it. The first year, he excused it. Too much champagne, he told himself. The second, the excuses faltered, replaced with suspicion and a gnawing ache. This year, he hadn't come as the same man. He had prepared. He had planned. A tug on his sleeve pulled him back to the present. "Happy New Year, Mike," came a familiar voice. Deirdre, Josephine's best friend, socialite, and co-conspirator, stood before him with a polished smile. She leaned up for her customary pity kiss. Mike gave her nothing more than a polite brush of his lips before pulling back, meeting her eyes. Her brown eyes, usually sparkling with smugness, were different tonight. Pity, concern, almost guilt. "Don't take this so seriously," she murmured, her tone soothing, almost rehearsed. "It's just tradition. Kisses at midnight. It's harmless. She'll be back soon, and she'll remind you how much she loves you." Mike's lips twitched into a humorless smile. "Harmless? Is that what you call this?" He tilted his head toward the crowd. "Christmas party. She spent the whole night under the mistletoe with her co-workers. Your Christmas party, she spent it dancing with every man except me. And tonight, she's making out with half the executives from my firm. And I'm supposed to believe this is about love?" Deirdre flushed, her practiced composure cracking. "She's outgoing, Mike. Vivacious. You're quiet, intellectual, serious. Sometimes she just needs the energy of others. But it only makes her appreciate you more." He laughed, low and bitter. "So when she kisses George Taylor a dozen times, that's really a secret love note to me? Interesting logic." Deirdre faltered, eyes dropping. For the first time, she had no ready defense. Mike's heart hardened. "You know something, Deirdre? For the first time in our marriage, I actually do understand." He turned away. At their table sat a briefcase. He opened it calmly, hands steady, and withdrew a brightly wrapped package. Untying his wedding band, he threaded it through the bow with deliberate care. Then he turned back and extended it toward her. "When Josephine finally tears herself away from her admirers, give her this. Tell her I said, 'Happy New Year.' Tell her I hope she gets everything she deserves in 2025. "Mike, wait. Please," Deirdre stammered, grabbing his arm. "Don't go. She's just drunk. She needs you to take her home." Mike's eyes were ice. "She has a room here, Deirdre. She's been using it all day, entertaining men. You know that, because you were with her. She has her car, her clothes, everything she needs. She won't be alone tonight. I'm sure George, or all of them, will be happy to keep her company. I gave her a year to choose. She made her choice. And so have I. Goodbye." He walked away, not looking back. Inside the ballroom, chaos was brewing. Helen, the HR director, arrived with her towering husband, just as Deirdre pushed through the crowd to Josephine and George. Deirdre's voice cracked as she thrust the gift into Josephine's hands. "Mike left this. He's gone, Joe. He watched you all night, and when you started kissing everyone, he left." Josephine smiled dismissively, the confidence of a woman who had always been forgiven. "Oh, Mike. He's dramatic, but he loves me. I'll go home, apologize, and everything will be fine. Look, he even left me a present." "Joe, wait," Deirdre warned. But Josephine was already tearing at the ribbon. The ring fell first, clattering to the floor. Silence spread like a ripple. George bent down, retrieved it, and held it out. His smirk was cruel. "Isn't this your husband's wedding ring?" Josephine's brow furrowed. Unease flickered across her face. Still, she ripped at the wrapping paper. The box inside was heavy. She smiled in false relief, until the tape gave way. A storm of glossy photographs spilled out across the marble floor. The crowd gasped. Josephine dropped to her knees, frantically grabbing at the pictures. But it was too late. Eyes everywhere widened in shock as they bent down and picked them up. Color photos. Josephine with George. Josephine with other executives. Josephine with her own bosses. Explicit. Indisputable. She froze, trembling, as whispers turned to accusations. A woman slapped her husband across the face with a photograph, screaming betrayal. Another hurled her purse at her spouse's head. A blonde shrieked about a prenup and bankruptcy while chasing her lover across the ballroom. One woman shouted, "There are USB drives too," and held one aloft like a torch. The ballroom descended into hysteria, gasps, curses, sobs, confrontations erupting everywhere. Josephine swayed, pale as death, then collapsed in Deirdre's arms with a piercing scream. Like what you see? Click like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Let's keep going. And then, like a cruel punchline, the process server appeared. He knelt beside her, handed her papers, and declared for all to hear. "Josephine Reynolds, Lord, you've been served. Your husband has filed for divorce. These papers, and the photographs and videos enclosed, are evidence of adultery." The room erupted anew. Josephine stared at the documents as if they were written in fire. She looked around the room, once filled with admiration and envy, and saw only contempt, pity, and disgust. She buried her face in Deirdre's chest, sobbing as her world crumbled. Meanwhile, Mike was already leaving New York City behind. The powerful Chevy Suburban hummed beneath him, its headlights cutting through the night. On the seat beside him, his phone buzzed with updates from Helen. But he ignored it for now. He was free. For months he had prepared, gathering evidence, protecting his assets, planning his escape. Tonight, the trap had sprung, and the reckoning had begun. As the city lights faded in the rearview mirror, Mike smiled. He would take the long way south, through the back roads and small towns, tasting freedom as tangibly as the air rushing in through the cracked window. Josephine could keep the penthouse, the designer clothes, the empty parties. He had taken what mattered: his dignity, his future, his peace. By the time he reached Texas, he would have a new home, a new company, and maybe one day, a woman who understood loyalty. Back in New York, the fire kept spreading. The photos, the videos, the emails Mike had prepared, each found their way to the right hands. Marriages collapsed. Careers imploded. George Taylor, stripped of his father's protection, was thrown out of the company in disgrace. Deirdre's husband discovered her complicity and threw her out as well. Josephine? She returned to an empty apartment, all of Mike's belongings gone. She rehearsed lies to excuse her infidelities. It meant nothing. It helped our marriage. It was just business. But even she knew they sounded hollow. She had believed Mike would always forgive her. Tonight proved her wrong. For the first time in her privileged life, she faced consequences, and she broke beneath them. By the time Mike rolled into Austin, the sun was setting over Lady Bird Lake, painting the sky orange and violet. His new partners had arranged a condo, a welcome barbecue, even introductions to new friends. His old life was gone, but a better one waited ahead. He parked, leaned back in his seat, and exhaled deeply. For the first time in years, he felt light. New year, new life. No more lies. And behind him, in New York, the empire of deceit he had toppled still burned. Josephine sat alone on the cold floor of her apartment that night, the silence louder than any crowd. Her phone buzzed endlessly. Angry wives, furious husbands, lawyers, journalists. But she couldn't bring herself to answer. Every message was a nail in the coffin Mike had built for her. She thought about calling him, rehearsed the same desperate plea. I can change. I didn't mean it. Don't leave me. But she knew. The box, the ring, the photos, the finality in his eyes. Mike had cut the cord clean. For the first time, she realized she was utterly replaceable. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, Mike slowed as he crossed the Texas border. The sign loomed over the highway, "Welcome to Texas," and he chuckled under his breath. It wasn't just a state line. It was the threshold of a new life. He rolled down the window, letting the warm southern air rush in, carrying away the last traces of New York and of Josephine. The past was ash. Ahead of him stretched open sky, opportunity, and peace. He gripped the wheel, steady, resolute. 2025 belonged to him. This story isn't just about betrayal. It's about reclamation. Mike's journey is a reminder that silence doesn't mean weakness, and patience doesn't equal passivity. He waited, endured, and then executed his exit with precision. It's a powerful statement. Dignity is worth protecting, and sometimes walking away is the strongest move you can make. In a world full of noise, deceit, and manipulation, peace is the real prize. And Mike? He earned every bit of it. If you found this story gripping, insightful, or just downright satisfying, hit that like button and subscribe for more dramatic, high-stakes storytelling. Got thoughts on Josephine, Deirdre, or Mike's revenge? Drop them in the comments below,